afternoon. Get this mic going a little closer. Turn that. Turn it up. There we go. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Happy December, happy holidays to you all. We have a nice agenda today that is filled with new faces as well as our directors with some high-level important updates that I think you will be excited about or eager to listen to. But first I'm going to bring up Lynn, your resident council president, for the resident council update.
One of the things we discussed at a very, kind of normal meeting this morning was that we should never call each other old. We're older. So there's some new faces here and some older faces. We had our council meeting and we discussed, a wide ranging topics, nothing real important or urgent, but we were covering a lot of territory and things are being worked on that, we'll share with you as they develop. I wanted to do a personal thank you for the State of the Castle Christmas, which, was just highly festive and exciting and crowded and all of the above. Also wanted to invite you to tour the floors because we're decorated right now. And so, if it's crummy outside, take a walk. If you do all the hallways, it's a mile. So take a walk and take a look and see what people have on their shelves. And it's really interesting and fun to see what folks do at the holidays with their little space outside their apartment. So, please take a walk. Also, I wanted to hope that you all have a happy holiday sharing with your family and your friends. If you can't get together with family or friends, I hope you'll celebrate with your family and friends here at East Castle, because that's what we are. So, that is the end of my formal report.
Oh, a great way to end 2025. We'll just call the meeting now. And next, I'm excited to introduce Brooke Harris. So she will be giving her first State of the Castle report and just a little overview about herself. Brooke is on week 4 now. Mm-hmm. So from sunny San Diego, brought us this beautiful weather, obviously, but has been immersing herself in the healthcare operations fantastically, and I think you'll all be excited to get to know her over the next year and several months. Brooke?
I'm going to adjust this. I'm a tall girl. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah. Perfect. Well, good afternoon. I'm very pleased to be here as your new administrator at East Castle Place. And of course, I wanted to take a little bit of time to introduce myself and give you a little preview of my background, kind of where I come from and how I ended up here, if that's all right. So I have been working within the long-term care industry for the last 7 years now, and directly in healthcare operations. And my passion for long-term care really began at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. So if many of you are familiar with Jillian, our administrator in training, I went through the same exact program studying healthcare administration, and my passion really blossomed when I had a direct internship within a retirement community, and particularly within a skilled nursing facility. So that hands-on experience really let me know that I'm on the right track. I love what I do. I love making an impact within healthcare and really serving residents directly. It's very unique that we get to work within a resident's home. So I just like to offer the best healthcare experience that you can possibly get at this age. Let's see. I went to University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. I have a bachelor in healthcare administration and a certificate in leadership studies. While I was there, I was also a student athlete. So I played basketball, so that's one big fun fact about me, and I still love basketball to this day, so if anyone wants to chat about the game, I'm all ears, so please, I'd love to interact in that way. Most recently, Lindsay mentioned I came from sunny San Diego, so I spent the past 4 or 5-ish years working at a continuing care retirement community out there. We served over 600 residents at that campus, and I had the pleasure to work in a few different capacities, first being an administrator on the residential side of the community, given how large it is, and eventually transition into the healthcare administrator role. So I was able to support a 97-bed skilled nursing facility, a 37 apartment assisted living, and an 18 apartment memory care unit. So I love working in not-for-profits. I love working at places that offer the full continuum of care. And I'm just really excited to be here and offer what I know in my best practices and implement them here at East Castle Place. With that being said, the community I came from was also an LCS managed community, so I'm able to bring those best practices and signature experiences here as well. Does anyone have any questions about
What made you leave San Diego?
Great question. So what made me leave San Diego? I am from Wisconsin. I'm born and raised in Green Bay, and that's where my parents and brothers still reside. So it was a wonderful homecoming to get back to the state. It is very unique to move around late November, so I made it just in time for the beautiful weather out here. But I did miss having all seasons. Like in San Diego, it's the same thing all the time. It gets a little boring. So I'll just travel.
We're going to remind you of that in January.
I can always take a trip. I can visit. My brother lives out there now, so that's just an easy excuse to go back and say hello. If no other questions, I just wanted to give a brief update related to the healthcare areas and our occupancy today. So right now we have about 38 residents staying in our skilled nursing, rehab, and long-term care area. And that's compared to a budget of 35, so we're doing well in that area. In assisted living, we have 19 residents compared to a budget of 17. There is a waiting list, so we're at full capacity, and people are eager to move in when that next opportunity comes. On the flip side, our CBRF, transitional living and memory care neighborhood, is with 12 residents currently compared to a budget of 15. So we are actively looking for new residents to live in that space. We have many opportunities there, and we expect a few move-ins come January. I think a lot of people are waiting to get over this holiday season before they commit to a move like that. But a lot of action there, and if there's ever a subject or a topic that you'd like to hear at these meetings, don't hesitate to let me know. I want to collaborate. I want to know what residents want to know. So I hope to bring, anything related to Bradford Terrace to this meeting and kind of discuss it globally when I can. Okay. Any questions for me before I pass it on? Awesome. Wonderful to meet you all. Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
I'll lower this again. Thank you, Brooke. All right, next I will bring up Anna Landis, who needs no introduction as our Director of Sales and Marketing.
Thank you, Lindsay, and happy holidays to everyone before I forget. Just a couple brief updates for you. I have a holiday present for you all. We are in the final stages of completing our new and improved photo directory. So I appreciate your patience on this one. And just a couple reminders along this one. With this, we did change the formatting a little bit as to save many trees in the updating process. So this is strictly a photo directory with names and apartment numbers because we still encourage you to utilize the resident app to put your full bio in there, and you can use that and interact with that in a variety of ways. That being said, again, as always, if you do not have a smartphone or you want the full 300 plus page document with everyone's biographies on it, come talk to me because we can print that for you. But I hope this will be a helpful tool for you as well. So you'll see this. Everyone looks great. I said this last meeting, but the reason for my delay is we have a couple new residents joining us in January, so we're pushing to get them in here, but you should see this in your mailbox in the next couple of weeks here, as well as our printer has been quite busy due to the holiday season. So that being said, we'll be excited for you to have this in your hands and utilize as you wish.
Can I just ask, are there pictures inside on the page or is it blank? Oh, so that's.
This
what
is
it's
a
gonna
mock, this is not the
No.
updated. Again, we've got 2 more pictures
be. Right. but
we're
it's
gonna get.
okay.
But, and again, this is optional, but we got almost everybody with a little nudge nudge to get your picture in here because we love to see your smiling faces. So thank you all for your cooperation with that. Yes, Mr.
Are there
King.
going to be telephone numbers and emails accompanying those pictures? Or is
They
it
will
just
not.
the picture?
It's just the pictures in here because you, again, have all that information in the app. And Lila also keeps the master list of all of that information as well. Because again, I think with printed material, it's very easy to, if someone changes an email or updates your phone number, then all of a sudden we're gonna have to go reprint this all the time or you have outdated information. So Lila and the reception team are always your best bet in terms of getting everybody's phone and email latest and greatest. But we will still update the photo directory periodically as we get new residents at the community. Speaking of new residents, I have a map. And I believe that this is the final copy. Again, huge thanks to the Communications Committee in your review of this. So the way that this is going to get presented is there will be numerous copies that live at the reception desk. So if a guest comes in and they need to be pointed in the right direction, they can utilize this and so it'll be housed there. But then new residents will get this as well. Again, to save paper, I'm not going to give all of you a copy unless you are very recent to the community. Then I'm happy to hand you a map. But if you'd like to see it, again in a couple weeks when I get these back from the printer, they will be living on the front desk and you can always come check it out. But your communications committee has reviewed and so excited to have that available as a resource for new residents. And then the last thing I have, again, we have our Friends for Neighbors referral program. So on a quarterly basis, we get together as a team and any one of you who has given us a name in the last couple months, we just kind of like to pick one and give you a little prize. And remember, there's money involved in that. So when your referral does eventually move in, you do get $2,000 off one of your monthly service fees with that. But for this quarter, we want to award Lori Hip with a nice little box of homemade goodies from us to you. And thank you for your referral. Are there any other questions for myself? All right, with that, again, happy holidays, and I'll bring up Evan.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to start off with a group fitness update. So I know I've said it in espresso with Evan, and maybe little Evan or Ray have announced this already, but there are some changes to our group fitness schedule. So in your handout, if you go to the 3rd page, you will see the new proposed group fitness schedule. So I just want to let everyone know no group classes are being cut. There are just maybe some days that are changed around and some times that are changed around. And I think actually it's going to be a little bit easier. I know sometimes we had Aqua that started at 9:30 one day and then once at 9, so it's going to be a little more streamlined. But very happy with this new, with our new schedule we're able to put out. I know I talked to a few residents who were excited about the changes. There will be minimal to no changes to PT sessions. The only thing that may happen is Ray or Evan may reach out to you about possible, switching the time around, maybe 15 minutes later or a couple hours later, or something that would work better for your schedule. So, any questions on group fitness changes?
What does PMU mean?
What is PMU? PMU is afternoon pick-me-up. So that is a afternoon class that is similar to probably, I'd say, a balance and posture class.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's always available. And then Evan, as you know, is out right now. When he returns, I'm going to send out a finalized group calendar for fitness. So that will be coming. Leanne.
Is the Friday class stretch and tone always down in the fitness center now?
Friday stretch and tone will probably be in. That's something I need to talk to Evan about. So that's not been finalized yet.
Okay.
As far as locations, I know Tai Chi and that are at the same time. So I just need to figure out what would work best. Jim,
When will Evan be back?
I'm hoping Evan will be back Monday. Any other questions on group fitness? All right, the next one, I just want to give a quick plug for our resident committees. So we have 2 chair openings for our wellness committee as well as our green committee. So our wellness committee meets the first Thursday of each month at 11. And I'd like to thank Ms. Heller, I don't know if she's here, for leading that committee for the last few, well, since I've been here, I think. So thank you, Joanne. And then we have an opening with our green committee as well. They meet the first Thursday of the month at 12:30. So if you're interested in learning more about those committees, first Tuesday. Did I say Thursday? Tuesday, sorry. Thank you. They meet the first Tuesday at 12:30. So if there's any interest in that, please come talk to me. I know one of our committee members was a newer resident, and she was looking to get a little more engaged in the community. So she just came to a few meetings, and then eventually was like, hey, I want to be the chairperson. So maybe come to a few meetings and see if it's something that would fit for you, but maybe something, a new initiative for the new year. Any questions on the resident committees? All right, my last update is a driving update as far as staffing. So Leslie Morales, not to be confused with Leslie Montanez from our laundry team, will be leaving East Castle on the 26th of December. So that is next Friday, the day after Christmas. Leslie is moving back out to the east to help some family. So with that being said, I'm happy to report that Kim from our Bradford Terrace team is going to be moving into a driving position. So she will be starting right away the next Monday on the 29th. So there will not be any gaps in coverage as far as outside services. And Kim has done some driving for us in the past. I know some of you may have seen her. She's driven some of our grocery trips as well, done some outings. So I think it should be a seamless transition. Any questions for me? Wonderful. With that, I'll pass it on to Mike.
Evan,
Yes.
you might want to just check that.
Thank you, Evan. I just have a couple updates. First of all, Brooke inspires me. She talked about her basketball career at UW-Eau Claire. Fun fact about myself, I was a blue gold as well in my freshman year. I was an athlete as well. I was on the hockey team, but in 1974 it was a club sport. I was a goalie. They would put me in goalie during practice when our front line was on the ice, so they got practice scoring. So that was the role that I did. But that's a true fact. It was a club sport, and I was on the hockey team in that day. Yesterday, if you were down here for the socials, we made a very exciting announcement about the Employee Appreciation Fund this year. We did it specifically during the socials yesterday because we wanted the news to be somewhat of a celebration, but I also want everybody to be aware of the news, so I want to repeat it today. Our Employee Appreciation Fund. You all know that this was conducted from September through the end of November, early December, something like that. Bob Faraday served as the face and voice of your resident council for this effort. I'm extremely grateful. The campaign was run very, very well. I also want to thank and compliment Mary LaCharity. She played an extremely important role helping Bob design some of the flyers that you saw as they were placed on your ledges, bringing you up to date. So the two of them were really, the inspiration behind it all. At the time that we began the campaign, Bob informed you that our goal was to have 100% participation. We had 107 of you were donors to the campaign. That's the closest to 100% that we've ever gotten. It's a 16% increase in donors from last year. It resulted in a 25% increase in total donations received as well. It was just a phenomenal amount, and we're extremely grateful. Just a bit of a nuance as well, 23% of you gave money through what I would consider a non-traditional method. A traditional method is, in my mind, is one of you coming to my office, writing a check, and giving it to me and saying, this is for the Employee Appreciation Fund. Or maybe you charge it on your credit card or whatever. A non-traditional method in my mind would be if you donated to a donor-advised fund that you or your family have in their name. If you used a qualified charitable distribution from your IRA. Those are what I would consider non-traditional methods. I would also consider people who sign contracts for monthly contributions to be non-traditional methods. And again, 23% of you did that. So, you know, we're looking for ways to make this as easy as possible for all of you. And, you know, a lot of you responded that way. And not only did it result in 23% of you doing it, but the 23% of you gave 33% of the total donations. So we're extremely, extremely grateful for that. 3 of your neighbors have already signed up for contributions through a monthly donation in 2026. I must remind you, if you intend to do a monthly donation, you must sign a new contract. Even if you had a contract signed in 2025, that contract expired on November 1st. If you want to do monthly contributions in 2026, you have to come and see me and sign a new contract. It's a 10-month cycle. You can do it during any portion of that. Take advantage of all 10 months, take advantage of 6 months, 5 months, whatever you want. But come and talk to me. I also remind you that qualified charitable distributions are based on a calendar year. If you did one this year, you don't have to wait till next November to do a qualified charitable distribution. You can do it anytime during the calendar year. It's a portion of your required minimum distribution from your IRA, and you can do it at any time. So come and see me if you have questions about that. I'd be more than happy to explain it to you. The net result of it is that last year we raised $82,435. This year we raised $102,674. I'm extremely grateful to all of you. So yeah, give yourselves a round of applause. And the net result of that is that last year a full-time employee received a $753 holiday bonus. This year they received an $888 holiday bonus. Just a phenomenal thing. On behalf of all of them and to all of you, I say thank you very much. I can assure you they appreciate it. I also have one other bit of news that I need to share with you. My wife wants me to retire. I'm not really ready to retire yet, though. And my wife graciously wants me to be happy. And as a result of that, I had conversations with Lindsay, and she came up with a compromise that keeps my wife happy and hopefully serves the needs of East Castle Place. Starting the second week in February, I will be going down to part-time. I will work Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I will be off Friday through Monday. That is subject to change. If any of you, feel that East Castle Place's needs are not being served, please go see Lindsay or come and see me, and we can explore that. The purpose of this is so that the needs of East Castle keep getting served, and I can go home at night and my wife is not mad at me. In preparation of this, we've been really concerned that there would be a noticeable drop-off in production in terms of philanthropy. So I've been slacking off on Mondays and Fridays for the last 5 months to see if there'd be no, I'm joking. The reason that we're focused on a shorter work week for myself and hopeful that it doesn't reduce the productivity is that the goal of the coming year is to see that the success we've all jointly shared in philanthropy continues. That means coming up with a succession pattern, and hopefully by the time that I really retire someday in the distant future, we have the next person in place. That will be the focus of the coming year, and so everything that we're going to be doing during that is going to be focused on that. Lindsay is going to be working on a succession pattern, something that once again maintains the success that we've achieved, and hopefully brings in someone with bright new ideas to make things even better. The other thing about it, though, is that I'm confident that we won't see a reduction in productivity, is that we don't have a construction cycle going on during this coming year. A big portion of a 3-year cycle for me was conducting the tax credit project. You saw the beginning when we announced we would be doing it. You saw the end when we announced that we received $3 million, but you didn't see all the work that went on in the middle, and that's not going to be happening next year. So, you know, hopefully we can pace things out and things will work well. Can I answer any questions for anybody? Turn it over to Eric.
You are here on Mondays for the fourth floor cocktail party.
Well, it depends on the appetizers.
We don't do appetizers.
I feel like also Payday Donuts is going to take a hit on Fridays. Transfer that responsibility. Thank you, Mike. I was going to go over just a few items. First, I talked about it last week, but we've had a bit more development since, so I want to keep you up to date. The Lake Terrace garage door and the security of that. So we've had Geis out a few times. The door has been working and then intermittently getting stuck open. So we had Geis back out again on Monday. I worked with him extensively to force the failure. Thankfully, we found it was in relation to the door sensors. So it was intermittent because it only occurred when someone was going through and forced the door to stop and then reopen. The problem was it didn't restart the timer to close the door. So they went ahead and rewired and programmed what they needed to, and it's since been better, but we'll keep an eye on this, make sure that that was in fact the issue. So just want to give you an update on that because that was important. Also, just want to note sometimes it's important to pay attention to things that aren't a problem. I'm very thankful that we had a very big melt as of last night into today, and none of you called me to tell me there's water pouring in your ceiling. We had that several years ago. So we did quite a bit of work again. We do that usually August, September. We bring out our contractor, Great Lakes Roofing, to do kind of a maintenance audit of the roofs. They give me a nice long list of pictures and recommendations, and then we have those done every year just to keep up on the roofs, because you got to do more than just let them sit up there. So good things there. Last thing I want to talk about that you got the notice on was the door project. So that was over in Bradford Terrace. Those 3 doors are basically your stairwell doors. So those are your forms of egress in the event of a fire. So they come down the stairwell, they exit out that door. Well, that door gets salt damage from the outside, different things, so it gets harder and harder for it to close. So to stay compliant with regulations, we decided it was best to replace those to keep them new. So that's why those doors were picked, and that's why they were replaced. And then fortunately worked pretty closely with the New Berlin SWAT team got to watch them break into those doors. And then I got to watch Bueller put them all back together. So it was quite a big project for Bueller to do, and they got it done in a timely fashion. I didn't hear too many complaints, except from Lindsay, that the door was very loud right outside her office. So, but other than that, it seemed to go very well. And then they gave us some very important feedback that we're going to be walking through relative to security. It does play a role with active shooter, but more than anything, it's just walking through an exercise of how to keep our building safe before we have to be reactive to something along those lines. So we had a great conversation, Lindsay, Brooke, myself, Teresa, about what that looks like, opportunities within the facility. So we're going to walk through digesting that information, possibly and more than likely adjusting our policy, and then looking at some other ways to secure our facility. Any questions for me? Yes, Susan.
Periodically, or on a seasonal change, things have to be done, that we have to have somebody in the apartment, this door, for example, go into a closet in order to work on filters or
Correct.
whatever. Would you please let us know when you can that it is going to be delayed because the parts aren't in?
Of course.
We
Yeah.
have several days
So
that we
the-
were ready for that and yeah.
So the question was relative to the filter changes that we do twice a year. So unfortunately, the historic building of the 4 buildings was missed because the filters didn't come in on time. I was not aware of that immediately, but I did talk to Michael and Jesus about when they have the filters in, we'll send a letter out to let you know, given some time for you to open up those areas, because historic is especially difficult because I put the access panels to the air handlers in their closets, and you have to remove shelving to get those open. So those are quite a bit more difficult than the other buildings where it's just a closet you go into, where it's its own private utility space. So I'll reach back out once I'm sure they have those filters in and we can coordinate a new time. Okay, any other questions? All right, Majarka, you're up.
Good afternoon, everyone. So after the State of the Castle agenda, you will find the holiday schedule. This is the same as what we put out at the beginning of the season, just a little bit shortened for the next 2 weeks with the holidays. So just as a reminder, next week Wednesday is Christmas Eve, that we will be having a Christmas Eve brunch. We will not be having dinner service that evening, but we do have an entree on the menu that you can order for takeout. Christmas Day will be having kind of an expanded continental, that there are not reservations needed, and it is just in person to come down and grab items and eat in the 1884 or in the Gilman if we need to use that space. That night we also do not have lunch or dinner either. Then the next holiday is New Year's Eve, which we have no lunch service that day, and we will have an a la carte dinner menu that evening, followed by New Year's Day, where we'll be open just for lunch in the 1884. So if you look at this sheet, it tells you when we would like reservations made by. So if we could have those reservations made at those times, that would be great. The menus for the holidays are on the app, and they also are in the bistro. Speaking of reservations, just want to give a big reminder that we need residents to make reservations. All of those of you who came to Christmas at the Castle, who made reservations and then possibly didn't get a table to sit at, saw what happens when we don't have reservations. We are going to become a little bit more stricter after the holidays on this. You will see some new times come out of when we need reservations made by, as well as we are going to start to turn away residents if you don't have reservations. If you come down for dinner, let's say at 5:15, and you don't have a reservation, we're going to ask you to come back at the time that we have a table available for you. So you can make your reservations in advance on the phone. You can make your reservations 7 days in advance on the app. So please use those so we know kind of what to prepare for service. Also, just want to kind of reiterate, if you are expecting a large group for dinner, if you could also let us know that in advance. If all of a sudden at noon today we have 6 different residents tell us they have parties of 10, to have that many large parties is difficult for the kitchen and the servers to plan for. So the more we know that, just a little bit easier it is for us to plan. And if all 6 of your parties of 10 want to come at 5:30, that's very difficult for us to do as well. So again, just communicating and planning, and look for some information after the first of the year about us kind of just updating those times of maybe instead of needing a reservation by 3 o'clock, maybe we're going to ask for it by 2 o'clock, just so we can plan. The last thing that I ask that we're going to kind of adjust is on Saturday night buffets and Sunday morning brunch, we would like you to check in at the host stand and get a table and then head up to the buffet. That way it just kind of allows the servers to know that the Woodards are at this table, I'm going to be taking care of them. And then also if you do have guests, we know who those guests are with. Sometimes some things get lost in translation. So just pop in at the host stand, check in, see where you're going to be seated, and then you can go ahead and go through the buffet. Any other questions for myself? Yes, Linda?
It's not a question. I just want to praise all of the kitchen staff and all of you for that night. I mean, you guys did a tremendous job, and you were overwhelmed, and people had not made reservations, and it wasn't your fault. And anyway, you did a tremendous job of adapting, and you know.
Wonderful. Thank you guys very much. So that is what we're here for, is to take care of you, and we just like to plan a little bit better if we can for it. Anything else at all? No? All right. Well, thank you guys.
Okay. Thank you, Majorca. So for my updates this month and to end the year, first, flu and COVID. I know I was watching the news this morning, and the flu season is amongst us, and the flu is going around, as well as COVID. So a lot of the symptoms are very interchangeable. They are seem like one and it may be the other or vice versa, as well as neuroviruses also going around. Our COVID and flu update at the community, we at present and as of recent have not had any residents with COVID, which is fantastic, as well as the flu. I really appreciate, I think you all do an amazing job of educating yourself and getting your flu vaccine and staying up to date with your COVID booster or additional doses. It's not a booster anymore. But with that, that is a great line of defense to obviously protect your immune system, and really it's not going to prevent you necessarily if you get the flu or COVID, but it's really going to help lessen the symptoms. So it reduces that risk for hospitalization or severe illness. So it's great that we have not had any residents. We have had 3 employees in the past month who have tested positive for COVID. Again, minimal exposure to what would be that within 6 feet for more than 10 minutes former protocol for that. But we still isolate our employees when they do test positive, even if it's unrelated to here, for 7 days. We are working with the state of Wisconsin on the proper return to work protocols because they've reduced that to 3 days. Because again, it's very interesting as you all and myself, when I read the CDC's website, when I look at flu isolation requirements, we are only required to isolate for 48 hours from our last productive symptom, or potentially 3 days at that rate. And that's if you follow those guidelines. So I really want to encourage you all, if you are obviously feeling sick or under the weather, perhaps get a to-go meal for that evening. Wear a mask. If you're traveling over the holidays, I encourage mask use, as well as hand sanitizer and washing your hands thoroughly with soap and water, because obviously we can only control ourselves as our first line of defense. But again, I want to make sure you all have a safe and fun holiday season. And we all educate our staff in East Castle Place very thoroughly, our residents, so I feel very confident, and we also mandate our flu vaccine for our employees. So I feel confident of what we have internally here, but it's oftentimes the external factors that get us, where when we're going out to Sendix, or we're going to the grocery store, we're walking to CVS, or we're going to the mall for those last minute holiday shopping. And when you return from those places, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, just to make sure obviously you are protecting yourself. One of your neighbors wanted me to remind you the newspaper in the 1884, and the newspapers, plural, need to remain in the 1884 after you're done reading those. So we've had some sticky hands as of late, of perhaps people needed stuffing for wrapping paper, etc. Hopefully not. I know I've done that a time or two, but we have an abundance of wrapping paper if you need that, but we'd ask that please keep the newspaper after you're done with it in the 1884 for your neighbors and those who also would like to read it. And then once you're done reading it, if there's a specific column you like, please put it back together too of how you received it. As we don't, it's easier having one obviously full paper rather than parceled papers spread throughout the 1884. So, as always. And then, any other questions for me about anything discussed today before I...
Some of us have been having problems with the internet. Is that being fixed?
The internet, my favorite subject. Excellent. We're still having some issues. So Joe Petoskey, I know, is working specifically with a few of you directly on internet. We have improved the access points and have relocated some of them to optimize the internet experience that you all have. But there are still some gaps of what it appears in certain apartments. And so if you have specific issues in your apartment or surrounding your area with streaming, etc., printers adapting to the internet, please put in an IT work order through the app or through the front desk so that we can come directly to your apartment. Joe is very savvy when it comes to that, and if there are things that we need to tweak in the ceiling or behind the walls, etc. We have those capabilities, but again, what we're able to assess globally may not be specific to your apartment. So if you have those issues within your home, please put in a work order and Joe will come promptly to that. And that also helps us track and trend for future use and as we do these upgrades over the years, because obviously we want to make sure the internet is always working to its most optimal potential. Excellent. And then last, I want to share a letter that we received from the JOM team from Just One More Ministry. So this is where we donated the Christmas gifts. Many thanks to each and every one of you for your efforts and your donations, as well as our employee efforts on that. And then your generosity and your time in wrapping those gifts too. I know it was fun to get the response of, oh my goodness, look at all these gifts. We're going to need more hands. We're going to need more wrapping paper. But I will read this letter and then we will post it because it was a very nice written letter from the Just One More Ministry team. On behalf of Just One More Ministry, JOM, we extend our heartfelt thanks to each of you for your incredible generosity. Your thoughtful donations of sandwiches, Christmas gifts, and financial support brought nourishment, joy, and hope to so many families during this Christmas season. Because of you, individuals in our community receive not only meals to sustain them, but also the warmth and dignity that comes with knowing they are seen and cared for. The Christmas gifts you provided brought smiles to children's faces and reminded families that they are not alone. This year has presented its share of challenges, but through it all, God has remained faithful. Your generosity was a powerful reminder that even in difficult seasons, God still provides just one more blessing. You all were a part of that blessing, and your willingness to give helped us continue our mission of being the hands and feet of Jesus to those in need. We are truly grateful to the residents and staff of East Castle Place for your compassion, your partnership, and your heart for service. Your support fuels our work, inspires us to keep going, and we hope to continue to walk alongside us as we serve our community together. May God bless you abundantly for the love you have shown, and may you know that your generosity has made a lasting impact far beyond what you may have seen. With sincere gratitude, Chris and the JOM team. So that is an amazing note to end, I'd say, this meeting on this month. And I just want to say happy holidays and happy new year to each and every one of you. It's obviously our pleasure to work with you, serve you throughout the holidays, and I hope you all have a safe and happy holiday. Take care. Thank you.